The year was 2087. Earth had finally done it. After decades of research and countless failed attempts, humans had developed their first practical interstellar drive. The entire planet buzzed with excitement. At NASA's expanded facility in Houston, engineer Ethan Powell wiped sweat from his brow as he checked the final diagnostic readings. The ship before him, the U.S. Endeavour, represented humanity's greatest achievement. Its sleek hull gleamed under the bright lights of the hangar. "All systems are green," Mr. Powell called out his assistant from a nearby console. Ethan nodded, allowing himself a small smile. "Let's hope it stays that way when we're 10 light years from home." The next morning, a crew of 12 boarded the Endeavour. Their mission was simple: a test flight beyond our solar system, just far enough to prove the technology worked. Captain Lisa Reeves, a veteran astronaut with calm blue eyes and steady hands, took her place in the command chair. "All crews secured and ready," she reported. "Beginning launch sequence." The ship lifted off with surprisingly little fanfare. No massive rockets or explosive thrust. The new drive worked differently. It slipped Earth's gravitational bonds almost quietly, and within hours they had passed the orbit of Mars. "Preparing for interstellar jump," announced the navigation officer. Lisa took a deep breath. "Proceed." The stars blurred, and a strange sensation passed through everyone aboard, like being stretched and compressed at the same time. Then, suddenly, they were there, 4.3 light-years from Earth, in the Alpha Centauri system. The crew erupted in cheers. Humans had officially become an interstellar species. "Let's run our surveys and head home with the good news," Lisa said, but her words were cut short by an alert from the sensor station. "Captain, there's something out there," said the young officer manning the sensors. It's huge." On the main screen, a massive object appeared. It was clearly artificial, a vessel of some kind, but unlike anything humans had ever built. It featured smooth curves and glowing sections that seemed to defy physics. "Are they seeing us?" Lisa asked, her voice steady despite the situation. "I believe so, Captain. They're changing course to intercept." Lisa straightened her uniform. "Open a communication channel. All frequencies, all formats." For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then suddenly, the main screen flickered. A face appeared, or something like a face. It had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, blue-gray skin, and no visible nose. "Unknown vessel," the creature spoke, its words somehow translated to English. "Identify your species and purpose." Lisa stepped forward. "I am Commander Lisa Reeves of the Earth ship Endeavour. We are humans on a peaceful mission of exploration." The alien blinked its 4 eyes in a rippling pattern. "Humans? From the Sol system. We had not expected your kind to achieve interstellar travel for at least another century." "We're full of surprises," Lisa replied. The alien, who introduced himself as Ambassador Zorvek of the Teslarian Empire, explained that his people were members of a galactic council, a federation of 23 spacefaring civilizations that maintained peace and order in this section of the galaxy. "Your arrival is most unexpected," Zorvek said, examining something off-screen. "Your vessel's propulsion system is interesting. Quite basic, but functional. Charmingly quaint, actually." Ethan frowned at these words but kept silent. "The Council will want to meet with representatives of your species," Zorvek continued. "We formally invite Earth to send a delegation to the Council station. We will transmit coordinates." After the communication ended, Lisa turned to her crew. "Well, it seems we've got more to report than just a successful test flight." "Did he just call our breakthrough technology quaint?" Ethan asked, still frowning. Lisa nodded. "I think humanity has a lot to learn about our place in the galaxy." The Endeavour returned to Earth carrying news that would forever change human history. They were not alone in the universe, and they had been invited to join the galactic community. But that community already seemed to view them as technological children, playing with toys the others had outgrown centuries ago. Humanity would soon discover just how deeply the perception ran, and how dangerously wrong it was. 6 months passed since humanity's first contact with the Teslarians. Earth had been busy. Leaders from every nation met, argued, and finally agreed on who would represent humanity before the Galactic Council. The diplomatic ship glided toward the massive council station. Chief Diplomat Gregory Harmon stood at the viewing window, watching the structure grow larger. It was shaped like a giant wheel with spokes extending from a central hub, all of it glowing with blue and white lights. "It must be the size of Manhattan," he whispered. Beside him, Captain Samantha Wright nodded. As Earth's military advisor, she had studied the few images they had of alien vessels. Nothing had prepared her for this. "Remember, their technology is thousands of years ahead of ours," she said. "But that doesn't make us less worthy of respect." The human ship docked at the station. When the doors opened, they were met by beings of various shapes and sizes. Some had 6 limbs, others floated on cushions of air. One appeared to be made entirely of crystal. A tall, thin alien with silver skin stepped forward. "I am Kyle Vin, assistant to the council. Follow me." The humans were led through wide corridors, filled with species they had never imagined. Some aliens stared at them with open curiosity. Others whispered to each other as the humans passed. "They're looking at us like we're zoo animals," Samantha whispered to Gregory. The council chamber was a vast circular room with rising tiers of seats filled with representatives from 23 civilizations. At the center stood a platform where speakers could address the assembly. Kelvin guided the humans to this platform. "The Galactic Council recognizes the representatives of Earth, a newly discovered spacefaring civilization." Gregory stepped forward and delivered a carefully prepared speech about peace, friendship, and mutual growth. When he finished, a large being with rough, dark red skin and 4 arms stood up. "I am Counselor Exile Thar of the Dravkor Imperium," the alien announced. "We would like to hear about Earth's defensive capabilities. It is customary for new species to share such information, so we may understand your place in the galactic order." Gregory nodded to Samantha. She stepped forward, calm and professional. "Earth maintains several defense systems," she began. "Our primary weapons include railguns capable of accelerating projectiles to high velocities, nuclear fusion devices, and kinetic bombardment systems that use no explosives at all, just the impact force of dense materials." A strange sound rippled through the chamber. It took the humans a moment to recognize it as laughter. The aliens were laughing at them. Counselor Xylofar's booming voice cut through the noise. "You fire solid objects as weapons. You split atoms. These are technologies we mastered before we even left our home planets." More laughter followed. One counselor leaned over to whisper loudly to another, "Do they throw rocks at each other too?" Samantha stood perfectly still, her face betraying no emotion. As Xylofar continued, "The Dravkor abandoned such primitive methods 8,000 years ago. Now we use graviton beams and plasma cannons. Your species is like barely evolved primates playing with sticks and stones." The chamber erupted in more laughter. Some counselors had the decency to look embarrassed, but most seemed amused by Earth's primitive defenses. Gregory stepped forward, trying to change the subject, but the damage was done. The remainder of the presentation passed in a blur of technical questions that seemed designed to highlight human inadequacy. As they left the council chamber, Gregory looked defeated. "That could have gone better," he muttered. Samantha walked silently beside him, her mind racing. During the presentation, she had noticed something odd about the defensive systems the aliens described. They were all energy-based, all focused on stopping other energy weapons. "They're so advanced they've forgotten the basics," she said quietly. "What do you mean?" Gregory asked. "Nothing yet," she replied. "But I need to speak with Admiral Martinez as soon as we return to Earth." As their ship pulled away from the council station, Samantha stared back at the massive structure. The aliens had laughed at humanity's primitive weapons. She wondered if they would still be laughing after they saw those weapons in action. 3 months passed. The situation around Proxima Centauri had grown worse. 7 Dravcore warships now orbited the human colony, their weapons clearly visible. In the colony's main control room, Governor Kelly Rodriguez received a transmission. The large screen showed Grand Marshal Cruzex, his 6 arms moving in what seemed like all directions at once. "Human Governor," he said, not bothering with pleasantries. "Your presence on this planet is now officially challenged by the Dravcore Imperium. You have 48 Earth hours to begin evacuation." Rodriguez stood tall despite her fear. "This colony was established legally. We have broken no laws of the Galactic Council. The Council has granted us exploration rights to this sector," Cruzex replied. "Your primitive species does not have the capability to properly utilize the resources here." "We reject your claim and your deadline," Rodriguez said firmly. Cruzex's 4 eyes narrowed. "Then you choose destruction. In 48 hours, if your colony remains, we will remove it." The screen went black. Rodriguez immediately sent an emergency message to Earth. This time, the response came quickly. Earth had been preparing. Admiral Martinez appeared on her screen. "Governor, hold your position. Help is coming. The EDF Valiant and 5 other ships are already on their way." On Earth, the situation was being treated with the highest urgency. The 6 newest ships of the Earth Defense Force had been equipped with the enhanced weapons Dr. Donovan's team had developed. Lieutenant Commander Jason Kendrick supervised the loading of special ammunition aboard the EDF Valiant. Each projectile was made of solid tungsten, designed to be accelerated to near-light speed. "Is this really going to work against their shields?" asked a young ensign. Kendrick nodded. "If our calculations are correct. I call it Operation Newton's Third." Newton's Third. "For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction," Kendrick explained. "They'll learn that the hard way." The Earth Defense Force arrived at Proxima Centauri just hours before the Dravcore deadline. By then, the alien fleet had grown to 30 warships. The 6 human vessels looked tiny in comparison. Admiral Martinez sent a direct message to Cruzex. "This is Admiral Richard Martinez of Earth. The colony remains under our protection. We request you withdraw your forces immediately." The alien commander's laugh boomed through the communication channel. 6 ships against 30. Your bravery is amusing, but foolish. Our scans show your vessels are armed with the same primitive weapons you presented to the Council. They cannot penetrate our shields. "We ask one final time," Martinez said calmly. "Withdraw your forces. The deadline stands," Cruzex replied. "We attack in 1 hour." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council had called an emergency session. News of the standoff had reached all 23 member species. Many had gathered to witness what they expected would be a quick demonstration of power by the Dravcore. The humans refused to leave. Councilor Exilthar informed the assembly. "Grand Marshal Cruzex will soon provide a lesson in the consequences of defying a superior civilization." A quieter voice spoke up. It was Ambassador Zorvek of the Teslarians, who had first contacted humans. "Perhaps we should intervene. The humans are new to our community. They deserve guidance, not destruction. They deserve to learn their place," Exilthar responded. "The Dravcore will provide that education." Back in the Proxima Centauri system, both fleets were in position. The Dravcore ships had formed a half-circle, their weapons charged and ready. The human vessels remained in a simple line formation. Inside the EDF Valiant, Lieutenant Commander Kendrick finished his final calculations and reported to the bridge. "Weapons are ready, Admiral. All ships report the same." Admiral Martinez looked at the countdown clock. The Dravcore deadline would expire in 5 minutes. He opened a channel to all Earth ships. "Remember your training," he said. "Remember what's at stake. And remember Newton." The clock ticked down to 0. Cruzex's voice came through one last time. "Your time is up, humans." Martinez took a deep breath and gave the order that would change galactic history forever. "What goes up must come down," he said. "Fire at will." The human ships fired as one. There was no dramatic light show, no colorful beams cutting through space. Instead, thousands of small dark objects shot from the Earth vessels at incredible speed. On the Dravkor command ship, alarms began to sound. "What are they firing?" demanded Kruzek's. His weapons officer looked confused. "Solid projectiles, sir. Simple metal rods." Kruzek's laughed. "Is that all? Our shields are designed to stop plasma bolts and energy beams 1,000 times more powerful. These primitives truly err." He never finished his sentence. The first tungsten rod, traveling at nearly half the speed of light, passed through the Dravkor shields as if they weren't there. It struck the command ship and tore through its hull, continuing straight through and out the other side. More rods followed, hundreds of them. Each one punched through shield and hull alike. Kruzek stared in disbelief as his ship's systems began to fail around him. Warning lights flashed. The deck shook violently. "Impossible," he whispered. Across the Dravkor fleet, the same scene played out. Their mighty ships, protected by energy shields that could withstand the most powerful weapons in the known galaxy, were being shredded by simple metal rods. In the Galactic Council chambers, silence fell as they watched the battle unfold on their viewing screens. The Dravkor flagship split in two, its reactor core failing and creating a bright flash in the darkness of space. What are we seeing?" one counselor asked. Counselor Exilfar stood frozen, his 4 arms hanging limply at his sides. "The humans. They're winning." Ambassador Zorvek leaned forward, studying the images carefully. "They're projectiles. They're moving too fast for the Dravkor shields to register them. The shields are calibrated to stop energy weapons, not physical objects moving at relativistic speeds." "But that's not how advanced civilizations wage war," another counselor protested. Zorvek looked grim. "Perhaps we should reconsider what advanced means." Back in the battle, Lieutenant Commander Kendrick monitored the effectiveness of his weapons from the EDF Valiant. "Direct hits across all targets, Admiral," he reported. "Their shields are completely ineffective against our kinetic penetrators." Admiral Martinez nodded. "Continue firing. Target their engines and weapons first." The battle, which the Dravkor had expected to last minutes at most, had turned into a slaughter. Of the 30 alien warships, 12 were already destroyed or disabled. The others were attempting to retreat, but the human ships pursued relentlessly. On Earth, Dr. Alicia Donovan watched the data streaming in from the battle. She turned to her team with a smile. "It worked exactly as we predicted," she said. "Their shields create a complex energy field designed to absorb or deflect other energy, but they have minimal effect on solid matter moving at high velocity. They never expected anyone to use such primitive weapons." In the colony on Proxima Centauri, Governor Rodriguez and the colonists watched the battle from their observation dome. Cheers erupted as they saw the Dravkor ships breaking apart. "I can't believe it," said her assistant. "We're actually winning." Rodriguez nodded. "Sometimes the oldest solutions are the best ones." In the Galactic Council chambers, the mood had shifted from anticipation to shock to fear. If humans could so easily defeat the mighty Dravkor fleet, what did that mean for the other species? "We must reconsider our classification of humans," one counselor suggested. "Perhaps they should be Category 1, not 3. Ambassador Zorvek shook his head. "Categories do not matter now. Everything has changed." As the battle continued, messages flew between alien worlds. News spread quickly through the galactic community. The humans, with their primitive weapons, had done the impossible. They had defeated the Dravkor, one of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy. And they had done it with what the Council had laughed at just months before: metal rods and basic physics. Admiral Martinez watched as the last Dravkor ship surrendered. He opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Admiral Martinez. The enemy has been defeated. I repeat, the enemy has been defeated." For a moment, there was silence. Then cheers erupted across all human ships. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they had done so with a bang that no one would soon forget. The day after the battle, chaos reigned among the Dravkor survivors. Their remaining ships drifted helplessly, many with huge holes punched straight through their hulls. The once mighty fleet had been reduced to floating wreckage. Admiral Martinez ordered rescue operations for the alien survivors. Human shuttles approached the damaged ships carefully, their crews ready to offer medical assistance. On the EDF Valiant, Lieutenant Commander Kendrick monitored the rescue efforts. A junior officer approached him with wide eyes. "Sir, everyone's calling you a hero. They're saying you saved humanity." Kendrick shook his head. "I just applied basic physics. The real hero is Dr. Donovan. She figured out their shield weakness." Back on Earth, news of the victory spread quickly. People celebrated in the streets. Dr. Alicia Donovan found herself suddenly famous as reporters crowded around the science facility. "Can you explain how you knew the alien shields would fail?" one reporter asked. "Simple physics," she replied. "Their shields work by creating energy fields that interact with other energy, but a solid object moving fast enough passes through before the shield can fully respond. It's like throwing a rock through a waterfall. The water is always moving, but the rock is faster and more focused." In the Galactic Council chambers, an emergency session had been called. All 23 member species attended, many sending their highest leaders instead of regular representatives. Councillor Exilfar was notably absent. Rumors said he had been removed from his position after the defeat. The council leader, a tall being with translucent skin, addressed the assembly. "We face an unprecedented situation. The humans have demonstrated military capabilities far beyond what their technological level suggested." Ambassador Zorvek spoke next. "Perhaps we were wrong to judge them by our standards. Their approach is different, not inferior." "Different," another counselor objected. "They use physical projectiles. It's barbaric." "Yet effective," Zorvek replied calmly. "And now many of our worlds are requesting defensive technology against these kinetic weapons." The debate continued for hours. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other alien races began reaching out to Earth directly. Some offered trade agreements. Others proposed military alliances. A few even requested human protection against the Dravkor, who had bullied many smaller civilizations over the centuries. Captain Samantha Wright, who had endured the Council's mockery months earlier, was promoted to Admiral and sent back to the Council with a new message from Earth. As she prepared for her journey, she received a visitor. It was Ethan Powell, the engineer who had helped build humanity's first interstellar ship. "I've been reassigned," he told her. "They want me to design more ships with the new weapons systems." Wright nodded. "How does it feel to go from building exploration vessels to warships?" "I don't see them as warships," Powell replied. "I see them as shields. We protect what we build." Across human space, new defenses were being constructed. The colony on Proxima Centauri was reinforced with orbital platforms equipped with railguns and kinetic launchers. Governor Rodriguez welcomed the construction crews with relief. "We won't be caught unprepared again," she told her staff. In a secret facility on Mars, Admiral Martinez met with representatives from 5 alien races who had requested human military assistance. "We don't seek to dominate," he assured them. "We only want peaceful coexistence." An alien with features like a praying mantis tilted its head. "Yet you developed such devastating weapons." "Sometimes the best path to peace is through strength," Martins replied. The greatest shock came 3 weeks after the battle. A new Dravkor representative arrived at Earth requesting a private meeting. The tall, red-skinned alien bowed deeply before the human leaders. "The Imperium wishes to apologize," he said, clearly struggling with the concept. "We misjudged your species. We request an opportunity to rebuild relations." President Susan Harris studied the alien carefully. "And your military intentions?" "We will respect human territory completely," the representative promised. "In fact, We wish to learn from you. Your approach to warfare is most educational. As the meeting concluded, President Harris turned to Admiral Wright. What do you think? Can we trust them? Wright smiled slightly. They respect strength. Now they know we have it. The tables had turned. The laughing had stopped. And the galaxy would never be the same. 6 weeks after the battle, Admiral Samantha Wright stood before the Galactic Council. The chamber felt different now. Where once there had been laughter at human technology, now there was respectful silence. Members of the Council, she began, I return as a representative of Earth, not to boast of our victory, but to propose a new relationship between our worlds. Wright spoke for 20 minutes, outlining a vision of cooperation and mutual respect. She never once mentioned the Dravkor defeat directly, but it hung in the air like an invisible presence. Technological advancement comes in many forms, she concluded. Sometimes the oldest principles, applied in new ways, can teach us all important lessons. We hope to learn from you, even as you perhaps find value in our different perspective. The Council voted that day to create a new defensive pact with Earth as an equal member. The vote was unanimous. On the journey back to Earth, Wright received a message from Dr. Donovan. Several alien scientists had requested permission to study human weapons technology. In exchange, they offered knowledge about faster-than-light communications and advanced medical techniques. Should we share our primitive technology? Donovan asked with a hint of humor. Yes, Wright replied, but keep some improvements to ourselves. Trust takes time to build. At the Earth Defense Force headquarters, Admiral Martinez and the newly promoted Commander Ethan Powell reviewed plans for a joint training exercise. 6 alien species had sent ships to learn from human tactics. It's strange, Powell said. 3 months ago, they mocked our weapons. Now they want us to teach them how to use them. Martinez nodded. They became so focused on energy fields and exotic particles that they forgot the basics of physics. A lesson for us all about the dangers of technological arrogance. On Proxima Centauri, the colony had expanded. New settlers arrived daily, and the alien attacks had made Governor Rodriguez a hero. She now led a joint human-alien research team studying the planet's unique mineral deposits. We've learned to value what each species brings to the table, she told a group of new colonists. The Venteri understand chemistry in ways we don't, while they admire our engineering skills. Across human territory, the fear of alien aggression had faded. Earth ships now traveled freely through Galactic Council space, welcomed at stations that would have turned them away months earlier. Lieutenant Commander Kendrick, the weapons specialist who had implemented Operation Newton's Third, found himself teaching physics to alien military officers. Many struggled with concepts humans considered basic. You intentionally avoided energy weapons, asked a blue-skinned alien officer. Not avoided, Kendrick explained. We just hadn't gotten there yet. Sometimes taking a different path leads to unexpected advantages. In the ruins of the Dravkor fleet, salvage teams worked together, humans and aliens side by side. The new Dravkor representative, a younger and more open-minded leader named Dralvor, personally supervised the effort. We will rebuild, he told Admiral Wright during the inspection tour. But differently. Less pride, more wisdom. On Earth, President Harris addressed the United Nations. We have entered a new era, she declared. Humanity stands as equals among the stars, not because we conquered, but because we earned respect. The final sign of change came when the Galactic Council installed a new plaque in their main chamber. It bore a human proverb, written in 24 languages. There is nothing more dangerous than underestimating your enemy. Commander Powell stood in the observation deck of the newly commissioned EDF Challenger, Earth's largest and most advanced ship. Through the viewport, he watched as human vessels trained alongside alien ships, practicing maneuvers together. Beside him stood Zorvek, the Teslarian ambassador who had first discovered humans. What are you thinking, Commander? The alien asked. Powell smiled. I'm thinking about how sometimes the universe teaches us humility in unexpected ways. Indeed, Zorvek agreed. Your sticks and stones changed everything. Not sticks and stones, Powell corrected gently. Just basic physics. The same laws that govern the entire universe. As the ships moved in formation against the backdrop of stars, Powell felt a sense of pride. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not by becoming like the others, but by staying true to its own path. The oldest lessons, it seemed, were sometimes the most powerful.